and said without Joe, that school couldn't have been established. That Joe was everything. He was gate man, he was everything. He was stenographer, he was typist, and Joe was hardworking. And he said a lot of things about my father, and then just one sentence about me. He never met me. He said, based on what I know about Joe, I recommend Stephen. Based on what we know about Professor Jerry Garner, what he does with public speaking, what he does as a Christian, even though we haven't met Reverend Sam Oye, I want to present to you Reverend Sam Oye. He is going to do justice to this topic. Please join me to welcome him to the microphone. You're welcome.
Good evening, every one of us, and I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be here. And when I hear of 50-year-old marriage and I see them singing together, I'm asking myself, okay, I think I still have about 20 more years to catch up with them. I wonder what my voice will be looking like by that time. And I was just telling the man of God who just introduced me, I said, when you made that illustration, you just put me on a high jump, because everybody knows Professor Jerry, and he's in a class all alone by himself. So permit me today, I will not wear his shoe. I'll only tell you what his shoes look like. Yes. So Prof had reached out to me, and we were together last at San Gazama's wedding. Some of you may have known that the Honorable San was getting married, and I was asked to come and speak. And we had former President General Gawan at that wedding too. So, and after I finished, General Gawan looked at me and said, he said, I wish I'd heard you very early. And then Prof reached out to me, and that's how the relationship began. And so when he called me and he said, I'd like you to go and represent me, I'm like, that's a big one to do. You know, his son is a close friend of mine, Professor Jerry Garner's son, who is in the house. So I consider this as a great opportunity, and I really thank him for this. Would you please help me honor him in absentia? Is that okay? My assignment is marriage education. I'm a certified marriage educator trained by the Family Wellness Associates in the United States. So we train the chaplaincy of the US, everything that has to do with marriage and the rest of that. I've researched marriage for over 2 decades now by the grace of God. I travel around the world to teach marriage relationships to couples and to singles. We just came in last week, Saturday, this time last week, we just arrived from Saudi Arabia, where we had a hall like this packed with couples from all over Saudi Arabia, from Aramco Oil and the rest of that, young and old couple. And I thought it was a very great time. My attempt today, and I just want to know how many minutes I have so that I can work within the time limits that I have. My attempt today is to speak to us on something that is tied to your theme. I'm going to be talking on what I titled Becoming a Power Couple. Becoming a Power Couple. In the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26, we know very well the Bible says, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, let them have dominion. Male and female, God created man. And then we got over to chapter 2, and then we saw how that God created man and woman, and then God, in his infinite wisdom, decided to bring the man and the woman together. First, God took from the rib of the man and decided to make a woman. I want to make a point here before I go too far. Please remember that it was from the rib of the man that God took what he used to create the woman. And I always say this when I talk to people about marriage. The most important thing a man is usually looking for, because the rib speaks metaphorically of the structure, because the rib is part of the structure that holds a man up. And if it is from that structure that a deficit was created, and a woman was created to come fill up that. And when the man saw the woman, the first thing that he did was to say, first, this is the bone of my bone. Meaning he recognizes that this woman has brought something to make up for the deficit that is in my structure. I like us to keep our focus on that, because lasting marriage is about the woman's continuous or continued relevance to supporting the man's structure for continued success or continued success. I will talk about that. But here's the point. God made the woman different. God made the man different. So he's called male, she is called female. Now, it is important to know, like I say to our men, that the woman was not created in the sight of the man. The woman was created out of sight, making the woman to be a complex and mysterious being in the sight of a man, because you were not there to see how she was made. And to that extent, the Bible says every man must dwell with women according to knowledge. A woman needs to be properly studied. For a woman to be maximized, she needs to be understood. It is very critical. That's why the Bible says a man must dwell with woman according to knowledge. Now, when the two of them came together, the Bible said these two shall become one. In the mind of God, difference coming together produces strength. Difference coming together produces strength. So what God wants, what God still desires, is that a couple should be a power couple. And I will try to explain what that means within the time limit that I have. Now, one of the things you find out about power couples is that they are individuals who are unique, and they bring their uniqueness together in order to accomplish a common goal. My wife is different. When God made the woman, he made her different. My emphasis is the word different. God made the woman different. God made the man different. If marriage is going to work, if marriage is going to work, and we are going to be a power couple as God wants us to be, then we must first embrace difference. Similarity makes for comfort. It is difference that creates success. Similarity only brings comfort. It is difference that actually makes for success. So in the mind of God, he wants a situation whereby a woman who is different from the man will walk with a man who is different from the woman, and together we will accomplish great things in our lives, one flesh. The challenge, however, is that marriage begins to have challenges when, number one, these differences are not celebrated. I give a practical example. Over 23 years ago, when my wife and I got married, the first thing that became our challenge was that I grew up from a family where my father was a military man and my father was a junior ranking military man. My wife, her father was a military man, but a higher ranking military man. So in my wife's house, they have wardrobe. Okay, so they have wardrobe, they have places where you put shoes. We live in a one room and parlor apartment. So in my own house, yes, I don't need to say, you can, yes. So everything in my house, all go somewhere. Clothes are in basket. Anytime you need them, you find them. Then you pull it out, you stretch it. And so when we got married, to cut a long story short, we got married. Now, as a speaker, I go to speak, and I'm very intense. I prepare a lot for my work. I go to speak. The first thing those who are speakers know, when you get home, you just want to rest. You want to relax. You want to deprogram. So as soon as I come back, I take off my suit. I drop it. We were in a small room in Aminu Kano Crescent. The former governor of one of the states gave us his boys' quarters. Now, as soon as I come back, I remove my suit, my tie, I drop them. I need me first before we figure out where to keep these guys. And my wife comes around. She's like, Oya, can you pick it up? I'm like, oh no, sweetheart, can you please help me pick it up? And then in the early part of our marriage, my wife will pick them up. Very wise woman. She'll go and hang them, keep the shoes where they belong. After about a month, I think she had understood that if I continue like this, I will do this for the rest of my life. So my wife then decided, she says, she will call me when she looks at me and I'm seated. She'll say, Gio. That whenever she wants to mock me, she'll call me Gio. So she said, Gio, pick up your shoe. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she said, pick it up. So I'll pick up my shoe. Then she said, pick up your suit. And I'll pick it up. And she said, go and keep it. Now, when I go to keep it, I'll just put my suit in the hanger and just put it right there. And then carry my shoe, keep it where the shoes belong. I mean, I've done what I'm expected to do. The shoe is where the shoes should be. And the suit is where the suit should be. That's what matters. My wife will call me back. She said, come. And you know, as a man, when you are tired, one word you don't want is come back. So she said, come back. And as I come back, I'm like, what's the problem? She said, look at the suit, the way you kept it. And honestly, sir, I'm looking and I can't see anything wrong. So I'm like, what is wrong? Yeah, the suit is there. She said, can't you see that it is not proper? I'm like, what is? I couldn't see. She said, can't you see that your own hanger is not facing the direction of the other hangers? So in my mind, I'm like, what is, if they face the same direction or not, who is coming to inspect our house? She said, no, they must face the same direction. Thank you, mommy. Orderly. Yes, I know, mommy. So, mommy has just said it, orderliness. So, I will have to now turn the hanger. I don't know why, but I just do it. Then she'll say, come back. She'll say, look at the shoes. I said, what is the issue? She said, can't you see that all the shoes are facing the same direction? I said, so facing the same direction, what income does he bring into our house? She said, no, they must face the same direction. The point here is that we are from two different backgrounds. My wife comes from that kind of a home where they have a wardrobe. She was raised with a wardrobe. I was not raised with one. Disorder, as it seems to her, is order to me. The issue is that this would have been the beginning of conflict in our marriage if it was not well managed. The wisdom there was that she used jokes to get me to learn. So it is so much so today that anywhere I travel to, whether my wife is there or not, I will not know when I carry my suit and I'll face them in one direction. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm just doing it. It's as if my wife is behind me saying, let them face the same direction. So over time, there is a diffusion of culture and values. But that came from an atmosphere of wisdom in terms of communicating change. So there was no resistance in me because she did not do it in a way that insulted me. We moved into another part of our marriage. Within the second month of our marriage, I had gone outside. I like buying gifts for my wife. I still shop for her today by the grace of God. I'm the one that shop for her underwears. I have a unique, yes. have a unique gift to locate good underwears. I just have a unique ability. So all our places where our mothers go, and summers, all these our women's secret places, where we go there by the grace of God. And sometimes you see all these white women, when they see me abroad, they're like, what's this black kid doing here? You know, so I buy that. In the early days of our marriage, I went to buy 3-piece nightgown. So I'm transparent. I bought them and I put them in the wardrobe. Because I remember that when Jesus died, the Bible said the veil of the temple was torn into two so that there's easy access. So I decided to buy what can make the work of God to be very easy. Because I thought Jesus has created the way. There should be no more obstacles. Amen. Now, but I have a challenge. I bought those things and kept them. In the night, Daddy, my wife came. When it was night, she was ready to sleep. I will not forget that khaki trouser. May I never meet it anywhere in my life again. That thing traumatized me. The trauma is serious for me. My wife, in my presence, we are about to sleep. My wife will wear pants. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it today. She will have, normally we make jokes with this. My wife will then wear that brown knicker. Then my wife will now wear belt. As I am watching, I'm like, Father, my own is finished tonight. So all the visions I was having all day, all the ideas, what God will do tonight, how God will move, all of it just goes down. I'm like, what in the world is this? But because of my science background, I am trained not to react. So, but I was worried. Is this what my future will look like? Which of my ancestors should I go and invite now to resolve this matter? So I was thinking, what do I do? At that moment, that one day, I don't know how God just inspired me. I just woke my wife up at 12 midnight. So I said to her, I said, you know, when I was very small, I told her a story of my childhood. And I said, is there something about your childhood I need to know? I don't know how my wife just went to that story. She said, you know, when I was very small, the father happens to be a polygamous person. The mother left when she was 5. So the stepmother had a brother who came visiting. So every night, the brother to the stepmother will come into their room where my wife and her sister stays. He would tiptoe into the place and be making attempts to rape my wife's younger sister. So when my wife got to know, in the night, they will close the door, carry chair, put behind. They will wear layers, they wear pants, wear short, wear knicker. They make sure they have belts. Are you learning something here? And they go to sleep like that. The moment she mentioned it, Tada, I said, I just got it. Meaning, even though she has changed location, she has not changed disposition. As far as she's concerned, somehow she's still in her father's house. Wearing ring, but it has not changed her mindset. I didn't know what to tell her, but God just put few words in my mouth. I didn't know how it came out. I just looked at her. I said, next to God, I vow to protect you. I didn't know those were very powerful words. Next to God, I vow to protect you. That same week, I just watched my wife walk naked inside the house. My wife would climb bed and lie down naked. I say, Father, thank you. My life has never been the same since then. Because I'm now living in the New Testament. As at that time, our marriage was in the Old Testament. Because I couldn't go beyond the outer court. But now I am in the Holy of Holies. Why have I shared this? One of the major challenges we're having in our marriages today are issues from our family backgrounds. How you were raised will affect how you relate. Things that happened to you when you were small. I'm still dealing with couples. I am a coach, so I work with couples. And amazingly, in Abuja here, I'm sure most of you will recognize this. The latest trend of divorce in Abuja is among couples over 20. 20 years in marriage is the latest trend of divorce. And I'm asking some of them, how is it that you have had 20 years and you are letting it go? She said, Pastor Sam, the marriage had failed in the first 5 years. It was just that we had gotten children, so I decided to wait until they are matured. There are couples who are living together, number one, not because there is still love. The flames of love have since left the marriage. There are couples who are even in church, leaders, pastors, deacons, elders, who don't live in the same room long ago. Husband in one room, there's madam's bedroom, there's master's bedroom. And and the young people see them come to church, they all dress alike, and young people are like, oh my God, I wish my marriage can be like this one. I wish you know what marriage you are praying that your own will be like. So we are living in terrible times in Abuja. And because my time is, I have about just 10 minutes left. Let me quickly touch on. No, I can't go ahead. They gave me time so that I don't lose my, I don't want to lose my place. So here's the game. It is important to realize that one of the major causes of breakdown in marriages, they are usually not big things. Songs of Solomon chapter 2, it said, take away from us, verse 15, little foxes. And listen to what he said. He said, they spoil our vine. But I like another translation, the Passion Translation. It said, it steals what I have planted in you. So all I am doing in my wife, everything I'm trying to invest into my wife, can be destroyed by little foxes. What is destroying big marriages are small things. Divorce is on the alarm. In China alone, last year, divorce rate has dropped. China's divorce rate hit 5 million per annum. I just came in from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, as of 2019, they noticed a spike in divorce rate in Saudi Arabia. It moved to 51,000. For the first time, they recorded 51,000 divorces. By 2021-22, it had moved to 57,000 divorces. Now, here's where the joker lies. By 2023, it has hit 350,000 divorces in 1 year. How do you explain from 51,000 to 350,000 divorces? I speak with lawyers in Abuja here, and they are telling me, they say, Reverend Sam, from young couples to old couples, divorces are on the rise. Those of you who are lawyers here will acknowledge that divorces are on the rise in Abuja. The rate is alarming. Now, one of our lawyers said, Reverend Sam, in the cases I have handled, the divorces that have been brought before my court, he said it will amaze you to know that 70 to 80% of them are from churches. They are Christians. Whilst we are busy singing praise worship, the devil is capturing our homes. Broken marriages produces broken children. Children from broken homes, dysfunctional homes, to some extent have high tendency to become children who have mental health issues. They have the tendency to become delinquents. They have the tendency to become children who have issues in life. Number three, they have the tendency to have dysfunctional relationships too. The tendency is very high if you come from a polygamous home. The tendency is always very high that you are likely going to be polygamous in tendencies. If you come from a polygamous home as a woman, the tendency will be there for you to be polyandrous. The issue is about visual stimulation. What does that mean? We're talking about the fact that what you saw is stronger than what you heard. The way you saw your father related with your mother is stronger than what they told you about marriage. Practical example. My father, whenever he's angry, military man, whenever my mother upsets my father, guess how my father reacts? The only thing I just noticed in those days, very early in Kaduna, my father would be, he will be singing hymn, because my father has an Anglican background. My father married my mother in an Anglican church in Lagos. So my father will be, every Sunday, he doesn't go to church, but he's singing hymns. Now here's the game. When my mother offends him, you will just notice he will not eat her food. My father will enter the kitchen. So in those days, we thought it was enjoyment. We eat mommy's food, we eat daddy's food. But here's where the trick lies. In order to eat daddy's food, you must make daddy feel like you're on his side. We didn't know how we're doing those things. It was creating a split personality in us. First 2 months into marriage, my wife and I had a disagreement over very simple issues. And I was not happy. I didn't know when my wife presented food, I said no. And the next thing I noticed, I've entered the kitchen. And the next thing I noticed, I was cooking. It was at that time the voice of God spoke to me. He said, what are you doing? It was like somebody standing. I said, what am I doing? He said, you are repeating the pattern of your father. He said, never again until you die should you ever do this. From that moment, no matter what happens, I eat my wife's food. Never eat outside. Don't cook. Here's the point. Men will face the devils that their fathers did not conquer. Women will have to deal with devils that their mothers did not conquer. It's a matter of time. Isaac will have the temptation to lie like Abraham lied. Jacob will have the temptation to become a liar. It's a matter of time. David will have the challenge of promiscuity that was hidden by his father. Absalom will do it publicly. And then Solomon, you know the story. See, the point you are making is that what we don't stop in our lifetime as fathers, we open the door for our children to deal with. What we don't deal with as mothers, we open the door for our children, our daughters to deal with. In my 5 minutes that I have left, let me mention very quickly little foxes that are destroying marriages in Abuja. Number one, from research, is called the fox of silence. Silence. We have beaten each other to a place where my wife is afraid to talk. Husbands too are afraid to talk to their wives. We have beaten psychologically and some physically, emotionally. We have worked on each other to learn to keep quiet. I am not happy, but I can't talk. Because if I talk, there will be trouble. I asked a man, I said, sir, why don't you have conversation with your wife there, Reverend Sam? He said, this woman, he said, I can predict the outcome. He said, I can predict. He says, sir, there's no point talking. I said, why? He says, sir, if we begin conversation, he says, she will hijack the conversation and turn it against me. He said, any time I think of the consequence of conversation, I don't talk. I was handling a case just 2 days ago. The young man found it difficult to talk to his wife. Unfortunately for him, he now found a lady in his office who likes listening to him. The wife now says she saw that he was having affairs with the woman. You are an adulterer. Look at you, useless man. You're just like sleeping around. I told you it's a deal breaker. You sleep with a woman or married person. Madam, come here. I said, before you drive him away, do you have conversation at all? I said, sir, was it that you went looking for sex? And because it's a couples meeting, I say only foolishness makes a man to go and spend so much to get the same thing. Think about it. You didn't hear what I just said? Doesn't have make some business. You carry money and left your house to go and pay a woman who has the same thing your wife has at home. Now, no man is that foolish to live the same and pay the same and pay something for the same. No man does that. So in most cases, when a man goes outside to do those kind of things, there are forces behind it. And there are diverse forces. Some it is promiscuity, some is from his bloodline, some is as a result of internal issues within the marriage. And in most cases, it is not sex a man goes looking for. It is just somebody to talk to. That conversation. And unfortunately, where conversation takes place, the sad thing about us men is that who listens to us gets rewarded by us. That's the way we are as men. She keep listening to me. I will not know when I say, this woman always gives me attention. Let me buy her a car. The challenge with buying her a car, sending her money, is that women on the other side have 3 problems with any man who shows, have problem with any man who shows them 3 things. Care, affection, proximity. The closer he gets, the more he shows care, the more he shows affection. The woman's sexual resistance begins to go down because women are rewarding by nature. Show me care, affection, intimacy over time, I will look for ways to reward you. It therefore tells us that number 1, if our marriages are going to be strong, we need to get rid, take away from us the foxes that destroys our vine. And number 1 fox is what? The fox of silence. Can we give each other the right to talk? Can we give each other the right to, sweetheart, I need you? Can I be free to tell my wife, sweetheart, where are you there now? I just want you to come see me. How did we go from a friendly marriage to a formal marriage? So much so now, a woman has to write letter to her husband. Dear, to the husband of so and so family. Dear sir, application to see you tonight. We have gotten so formal. One thing we have found out that most marriages need, in order for the marriages to become better, is one word: play. When was the last time we played? The home has become so formal. Good afternoon, sir. The wife now is like secretary. The husband is like commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The children are like security guard. When a guy is coming, everybody take to your post. Formal marriage. Play has left our home. Stress has entered the home. Women are aging fast. Men are aging fast because there's only one thing that is absent in the marriage: play. I know you are all right, but somebody around you need to hear that. Please help me tell the person that needs it. Say, you need play in your marriage. You. Tell the person, I am okay. You need play in your Listen, I want to honor your time. I have about 7 foxes I wanted to share with you, but I'll just touch on one in this last minute that I have. It is called the fox of domination. This is a fox you need to give attention to. The fox of domination. No marriage lives out its true potential where one of the parties is dominating the other person. Control was not God's will when God was setting up marriage. God did not say to man, and you shall have dominion over your wife or dominion over your husband. He said you will have dominion over the fishes of the sea, creeping things on the earth, not dominion on each other or over each other. Control is terrible. It destroys emotions. It destroys the expression of emotions. Let me say this. What do you really want? To be feared or to be loved? You need to ask yourself a question. What do you really want? To be feared in your home or to be loved in your home? In the days of your power, be careful how you treat your partners, so that in the days when you become powerless, you will not reap the harvest of what you have done. I should tell them, mommy. I wish we have time. Hello, sir. You are Mr. Invisible today. When you walk on the street, everybody's afraid of you. Hello, sir. Remember, we have seen it severally. I was at the airport, and daddy, you know what I saw? I saw an elderly woman pushing her husband on the wheelchair. And what I observed was that she was doing it with joy. I said the only reason this woman will be doing this with joy is from the memory of how he treated her before. Hello, sir. The days are coming when you will not be this strong. So now you have the money. Invest the money into your wife. My mentor said to me once, he said, Sam, I was with him in Fort Worth in Dallas, Texas. He said, Sam, sit down. Dr. Mike Murdoch. He said, sit down. He said, I want to ask you a question. He said, what is the purpose of money? He said, what is money? I said, money is a means of exchange. He said, no. He said, that's not the purpose of money. I said, that's not what money is for. He said, that's the basal reason for money. And I said, sir, what is it? Listen to what he said to me. He said, money is a means by which you create memories. So money is a tool you use to create what? Memories. Money is a tool you use to create what? How madam will help you at old age is dependent on how Oga will attend to you when your mommy, God bless you, ma. I was looking at my mother recently. My mother is 87 now. I was looking at my mom, gray hair everywhere. My mother's, all the robust part of her body, everything has gone flaccid. My mother is looking very small now. And I said, but this was the queen of the Oyes house. And it just tells me that flowers will fade. We will not always be strong. The days are coming when we will not be this strong. Either the man or the woman. In the days when beauties fade, the only thing that will make a man to so love his wife is what? Memories. What memories are we creating with each other? When I think of my wife, what comes to my mind? Pain. When I think of my husband, what comes to my mind? The man that made my life hell. I can't wait for him to die. A man called me, a pastor. He said, Pastor Sam, he said, I married the devil. Listen to what he said. He said, I have told God to take her away. He said, sir, the day she leaves, he said, I will not mourn her for 3 months. Why? What is going on? Memories. When was the last time you celebrated your wife's birthday? Your wife gets to hear that you're a very rich man. And you know it's outside. People just come and help us thank your husband, dude. Help us thank your husband. He bought us plane. He bought us jet. He bought us house. And here is the wife at home. She has not seen a dime. But she's just getting to learn that her husband is in fact one of the richest people in Nigeria. She doesn't know because they are not feeling it at home. Memories. As we live here today, because my time is up, as we live here today, I want to challenge you. There's so many things to talk about, but I want to challenge you to remember this. Whilst you are alive, create what? Memories. What kind of memories? Mommy, thank you. Sweet memories. Positive memories. Please create them. Create them. You will not be powerful forever. Nigeria needs you. Nigeria is calling on you. Everybody is calling on you. Finally, you'll be reduced to one house. Finally, you'll be reduced to one room. Eventually, you'll be reduced to one bed. The days are coming when you will either have to help your wife or your wife will have to help you. Think of those days and lay proper foundation now. I leave you with this story. My son, I remember in the early days of when my son was growing up, I will tell my wife, don't beat him. There are ways to punish him. Even though he does some things, we'll find ways to correct him. Long story short, my son has grown. He's bigger than I in size, in everything, taller than I. So we went to visit him 2 years ago. We went to visit him in the US. And when we got there to visit him, he said he wants to go and shop in Target, that we should follow him. We followed him. As the boy was shopping, I don't know what conversation led to something about weight. We're talking about weight lifting. And I just made a statement. I said to him, I said, do you know my weight? He said, no, I can lift you up. I said, me? He said, okay. The way my son carried me from ground, it was like he carried paper. Lifted me up as he was offering me to God as offering. And then he dropped me gently because I'm his father. When we left, I now called my wife. I said, baby, I said, thank God, say I know they beat this boy before. I said, waiting for the happen now. If the only thing with this boy remember now all the beats where they give out. Now it can carry me like clean and jack. I told my wife, I said, baby, thank God you said not the beater. Hello, sir. You may be the strongest today. Somebody else will be the strongest tomorrow. God bless you.
Let me invite us to clap again. Now, I go back to that introduction. I said, based on what I knew about Professor Jerry Ghana, I presented him and said he was going to do justice to this topic. Did he do that? Yes. Even if it is by association. I know Prof, and I know if you associate with him, you must be of the best among your peers before Prof will say, go and represent me. Thank you very much. While you were speaking, we are going to take, for the sake of time, let's do it this way. We have 3 questions, spoken questions. We have pieces of papers going around because we also want to subdue the fox of silence. If you know you have a silence, those ones you don't want to say, even here, write it. We will say them for you. That will help us to subdue the fox of silence. So the papers are going around. Those who want to whisper their own, send it to me. What I am here is the master of this ceremony, and I will say it. Nothing will happen. Gio is behind me. So now we have, to this side, one, and then one from the back. 3 questions, and then our speaker, the GO, will answer. If any of our fathers here also want to make a contribution to the answers that were given, he can. But please, let questions be questions. Not contributions, not another lecture. Just questions, just go to the question, we take it.
Now, maybe I didn't understand that, but I was only trying to explain from my own angle that it's also proper for a man to get into the kitchen if he knows how to cook, and then prepare food for himself and for the family. That's what I want.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe I should start with the last statement. Please my reference to cooking is with respect to conflict resolution. I'm saying when my father gets angry, he goes into the kitchen, and I am sorry I did not go further to say there's nothing wrong. Like I said, sir, beyond cooking, I cook. My wife is a caterer. I'm the person who handles every final design of catering for my wife. When my wife, she does catering for international organizations. When they're having their meetings, they call her to come and serve them. Whenever my wife has catering activities to carry out, I shut down my office work to go and attend to that. So I carry plates for her. I still wash plates. No matter how much travel and popularity we have, we still do those domestic. So I really appreciate you, sir, for putting that twist to it. All men, it is just a joy for a child to see his father, for a daughter to see her father cooking, doing kitchen work, is making the girl to see the kind of man she should marry. So it's a great thing to do that, sir. Thank you for that contribution. All right. There was one question before that I wanted to quickly. Yeah. Okay, that's mommy. Yes. What do you do with a man who doesn't talk? Mommy, we have discovered this. All men talk, including the man who doesn't talk at all. What we have discovered over and over again is that they only talk, number one, if the subject interests them. So we had a case with a lady in our church. She came to report that her husband doesn't talk. I said, no, I know your husband. I said, there are two things I have noticed with your husband. Bring up those two subjects, you see your husband talk. She said, what are those subjects? Politics and sport. Mommy, you will recognize now that the same person you thought doesn't talk, think about him when his friends come, you notice there are subjects that makes the person talk. Pastor Matthew Ashimulowo's wife learned it the hard way. So we normally speak together at women's conference in London. So one day she was talking to my wife and I, how God changed the situation. I think she has said it publicly on TV. So what normally happens in Pastor Matthew's house is that in the evening, when he comes back, he sits down, he will be chatting with his sons. So himself and his children will just be talking. The wife will be sitting there. I want to just be nodding her head. She's left out until he eventually goes to sleep. So she was wondering. She'll be nodding her head. One day God said, what are you nodding your head for? At that moment, God said to her, learn what your husband likes talking about. So what did she do, ma? That very day, when they finished talking, they went to sleep. Mommy stayed back. She realized the husband likes politics. So she stayed back and was watching. That was during the Obama election. Mommy watched until about 3 a.m. in the morning. Second day, she watched also. Third day, she watched. By the fourth day, they were sitting with the children, and as they were talking, Mommy now contributed. She said, well, that is not the case of Hillary. She now brought this, and the husband was like, what? Guess what happened? That's how she stole her husband back. So instead of him talking with the children now, it is him and his wife discussing politics. And it is from politics they now talk about other things. So we say, find what interests him the most and begin to have conversation in that regard. Then he will get to take interest in your interest. Number two, when you are talking to a man, particularly if your husband is an intellectual, you want to make sure that sometimes the reason he doesn't talk is because when he talks with you, he doesn't feel you are discussing at his intellectual level. So those are the issues. So mommy may have to go and start doing AI at this age. So go and thank you. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, sorry. We have many here, and they're just raining like water. So we just take like 2, 3 at the same time. Yes, okay. Sir, please, what is your take on submission in marriage? Is it both ways, or for the woman to submit because different preachers have seen it in different ways? Then number 2, so you are together with your spouse for more than 10 years. For one day, he has never said sorry to you in a way. I will provoke and make peace. Advice.
Okay, maybe I should just ask.
He hasn't said sorry. This person doesn't say sorry.
Maybe I should quickly, so that I don't. Okay, please, let's deal with the issue of submission. And please, I want to say this. I need your help in this area. Everybody, particularly with attention. All over the body of Christ, there's been so much confusion on this subject. Please, what a preacher says is not as important as what the scripture says. The scripture is not confused about this matter. Number 1, before the Bible talks about submission by the woman to the husband or love from the man to the wife, the Bible first of all says submitting yourselves one to another in Christ. So as children of God, as children of God, there is no case of you are my husband, you are my wife. We are all children of God. But as we come down to the marriage, is that clear now? The Bible says the wife should submit. Please hear this. The Bible did not say submit if your husband is nice. Submit. It was not a condition statement. There were no preconditions to the statement. Here's how it works. Submitting is in obedience to God, not because the man deserves it. Please, this is where we need to get this thing right. I am not submitting to my husband because he brought money. I'm not submitting because he did this. I'm not submitting because he did that. No, I'm submitting because God said submit. So I am doing this because God spoke to me. God gave me a command. Similarly, husbands, love your wife. It's not if she smiles, if she behaves well. No, the love from man to the woman is also without condition. That's why he said, love your wife as Christ loved the church. If you are to look at it that way, you're going to recognize that the church did not do anything nice for Jesus to love the church. We were at our worst when he gave us his best. Am I correct? That is the love that changes somebody. That even though your partner is imperfect as everybody is, even though your partner is yet to come up to the level of your expectation, you keep pouring love. It is that love that brings the person to a place of change and transformation. So our love must be as Christ loved the church. Our submission must be as the church submits to Christ. It is unconditional. All right?
Someone who doesn't say sorry.
Now, let me say this. There are individuals who find it, this is going to help you. There is a book on 5 apology language. Sometimes you think somebody is not saying sorry when he has said sorry multiple times. Because sorry has 5 different ways by which they are communicated. One of it is saying it. I am sorry for what I did. Okay? Another way of communicating sorry is showing it. Now, most times, some men like to show sorry than say sorry. So you find a situation whereby the man has offended, the man has offended you, and instead of coming to say sorry, you will notice he'll just come and drop money. How many of you understand what I'm saying here? You notice he will drop money. You notice he will just call you and say, sorry, our son. He will just bring up one story. That is his own way. Now, so what we do when we teach couples is that we teach the 5 apology language. Okay? The first thing we do is, you know your own. The reason why you are saying he has not said sorry is because saying sorry is how you receive apology. But saying sorry may not be how your partner gives apology. So we now need to teach all of you to know the different way apologies are communicated and teach the man to learn to say sorry, because that's how your wife recognizes sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, 2 questions here. Do you believe emotional infidelity is as bad as sexual infidelity? This person defines emotional infidelity as where the partner shares secrets and relates with other people outside, heart to heart, in a heart-to-heart discussion. So that's one question. This one is requesting from you a temp paper. He says you should critically evaluate the stability. He says you should critically evaluate the stability of homes in the days of our fathers and grandfathers vis-a-vis the 21st century.
Thank you so much.
Are you going to answer that one today?
No. Maybe I should hold on with that and attend to emotional infidelity. A research was done recently, and this is going to be among the clergy. I will surprise you, among those of us who are clergy. So there's a conference that takes place in a particular city in America. Banner's group did this research. So for 9 years, this conference takes place in the same hotel. So conference center in the same hotel. So clergies, pastors, I'm talking as much as about 1,000 plus pastors every year come to that conference. Guess what they found out? They discovered that every year for 9 years running, when these clergy come for conferences, they discovered that the highest search of pornography is when pastors come. The highest search. Meaning after we have come to attend the conference, we have ministered to God, we have cried, we have trusted God for breakthrough. And as soon as we get into the hotel, the first place we go to is not heaven. We go online. Emotional infidelity, or what you call affairs, is one of the greatest faults. Sneaking into homes and ruining them first, because of the invasion of the internet age. Access to immorality has become cheap. So I teach the women in our church, I say to them, please stop making expensive what has become cheap. There was a time when for you to see the nakedness of a woman, in the 80s, 90s, for you to go and see a naked woman, you have to travel, you have to go on a journey, you have to plan it. Now I don't need to go anywhere. Right in my house. Go on TikTok and see what women are doing to womanhood. How women are reducing women to nothing. How for roses, just these small roses they give on TikTok, how women are opening their breasts. This is a common thing now. I plead with our women, please be aware. We are in a serious time where men are bombarded. Our men are pretending like they don't see. You don't know what we see. When we go to check our mail, what we are not looking for comes looking for us. Do I have witness from the men here? No, we need to start first. See, we are starting first with the men. It's happening on both sides. But we are showing you where the greater impact is. It's happening more now to men, because men formerly were limited in terms of seeing things we are seeing now. So what we are saying in summary is that emotional infidelity includes, please let me say it this way, emotional infidelity includes finding comfort, finding emotional or sexual comfort in conversing, relating, interacting with somebody of the opposite sex, whether there is physical sex or not. It can also be online. It can be online through online chat rooms. It can be online through online, relationships and all of that. There are multiple platforms that take place. Online emotional affair is more devastating than physical affair. In physical affair, we know what has happened. Emotional affair, you can't quantify the impact. None of it is acceptable in the sight of God. However, emotional affair and emotional divorce is worse than physical divorce.
Thank you, sir.
Psychologically proven, it is worse. Yes.
Thank you, sir. The last two I have, one is in two parts. So what are the 5 forces that normally lead to divorce? And then how do you address a man who supports your vision financially but makes you a slave while still giving the support? Then how do you deal with the husband? This one, I think it's an answer. The husband that does not allow his wife and children to even talk. He's the only one talking. How do you improve communication in marriage?
Okay, let me answer the last one. How do you improve communication in marriage? All marriages that intends to improve communication focuses on 3 things only. So communication has been demystified in marriage. There are 3 things you need to do to make communication better in your marriage. Any of this that I'm about to mention that is defective in your communication will bring about an unhealthy communication state in your marriage. Communication is healthy when 3 things are in place. Number 1, listening, speaking, negotiating. Period. Listening. I should repeat it. Your money has already expired. So, all right. So please take note of this. Listening, we call it the triangle of communication. Listening, speaking, negotiating. As you look at your marriage, you can score. I want you to score listening. First of all, score yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, are you a good listener? Do you think you listen well? On a scale of 1 to 10, your husband, when you are talking to him, your wife, do you think your spouse listens well? So you can tell from this triangle where you need to improve in your marriage, whether it's listening or speaking. So in most cases, you have a case where, the last question, where a man dominates conversation in his family. Everybody must shut up. Let me warn, men who dominate their marriages and don't allow their spouse to speak in the early days of their strength will be made to keep quiet in the last days of their life, and the woman will be the one talking to them. So again, it's about what? Say it again. Yes, sir. So please, sir, don't think you are Superman. Look at your family. If all decisions made in the family are your decisions, your wife is not allowed to make input. Your husband can't talk. For a while, you may be the champion. Later, you may find yourself becoming the loser. So here is the game. If it's going to be healthy, we must learn to speak. And here's the rule. Okay, where's my phone? So there's a tool we use. Whenever my wife wants to speak, Professor Hernandez taught me this after 50 years of being married. I was looking at him in California. I was looking at him and I said, sir, himself and his wife, I just love the man. You could see genuine beauty in a marriage. And I said, Prof, how is that your marriage is beautiful? And he said to me, he said, Sam, he said, whenever my wife speaks, he said, I write. He said, I write. He said, it has saved me many troubles in my life. He said, when I finish writing and she finished talking, when she's done, I will ask her, are you done? And then you say, I want to repeat the things you have said. You said, when I was coming, that my cap fell. You said, when I was coming, that the dog was barking. Sorry, I just want to be sure. Are these the things you said? He said, clarification. He said, don't assume you understand the woman. He said because in most cases, women will want to first of all throw out what they want to use to test the ground, to see your reaction. He said, so when you ask her, are these the things you said? She says yes. He said, don't go into answering her immediately, lest you put yourself in trouble. Ask her, do you want me to respond? He said, because in most cases, it's not that they really want you to say anything. Sometimes women just want to talk and talk themselves to the answer. Sometimes the reward for talking is your listening. That you just listen is the reward to the woman. So number one, when she is speaking, you are not to interject. Just be writing. Even when you are boiling, my gosh, she just called my father a goat. That's okay. Just write it, okay? When she's done, that one that is making you boil, you say, sorry, did you say my father is a goat? Like, do you mean it? I mean what I because you have subjected her to rational thinking. Because for women, when they are hurt, the rule of conversation is mouth over mind. So, unfortunately, for a man who doesn't understand that this woman is just in an unhappy mood and it's her mouth over her, meaning she's talking without thinking, meaning she's talking because of how she is. Now, when a woman is talking based on how she's feeling, it is unwise for you as a man to now invest your thinking faculty into rationalizing what came from a feeling space.
Shall we clap for Gio? No, Gio, that's it. It remains just one. Yes. Just two, the last two. That is the man that helps you to achieve your dreams and then punishes you while helping you. That is, makes you feel like a slave. That's what the person is here.
Let me say this, please. The worst thing you can do as a man is to make your partner feel less than God made her to be. What you do for your partner is not as important as how you make your partner feel. I'm going to say that again. What you give, what you do for your partner is not as important as how you make your partner feel. To give the world to your partner and make your partner feel like a trash simply has defeated everything. Your generosity will not be appreciated. Because first you've given me money or you've devalued me. And let me say this. The only person that devalues human being is the devil. Number two, his agents. Number three, sin devalues human being. That's why when sin came in, man became lesser than what man was. The greatest thing a man can do for a woman is not just what you give to her. It's not just what you do for her. It is how you make her feel. That your wife feels anytime she thinks about you, you speak well of her. Let me give you a simple story. This just happened and I think it will help us. 3 days ago, I got a message on WhatsApp. Because I'm a public person, I get messages from all over the world. From over 110 countries of the world. I saw this message. Hello, Reverend Sam, I would like to speak with you. And I'm like, good me, let me chat to the person. And I said, feel free to call. And it turned out to be a lady. And when she called, I said, yes, ma'am, what can I do for you? She started dragging her words. I said, ma'am, you called me. She said, please, can I be sure it's Reverend Sam I'm talking to? I said, you called me, you didn't know my, how did you even get my number? Anyway, to cut a long story short, she finally summoned up the courage. And this is what she said. She said, I have been coming to the church since 6 years ago. She said, after I lost my marriage. She said, God has blessed me financially in Abuja here. She said, 5 years since I left my marriage, she said, I have not had sex with any man. I said, we thank God for people like you. In fact, I was even thinking we should start celebrating what God is doing in her life. She was like, I've never had sex with. I said, God bless you, man. Continue. This is the way Christians should live. She said, no, sir, there's something I want to say. I said, what is it? She said, I started coming to the church. I said, really? You're a member of the church? She said, I come. She said, except in the last 4 years. She said, I've not been consistent. That even if I come, I only come for first service and I run away. I said, my why? Is there anything we're doing wrong? She said, no. She said, anytime when I come, I'm always outside and I watch you, how you greet people, play with children. And she said, above all, the way you treat your wife. The way I like the way you treat your wife, the way you talk about her. I'll be watching from how you treat her and all of that. And I've heard what people say about what you do for your wife. I said, we thank God. But I thought it was again testimony. I said, we thank God. She said, this is the reason why I can't come to church. I said, but why, ma? She said, she said, I don't know if I can say it. I said, ma, go ahead. She now said, sir, she said, something has been telling me that I should tell you this. I love you. So, yes. So, when I heard I love you, I said, oh, I love you too. I said, you know the way I love all of you in church? She said, no, sir, that's not the love I'm talking about. I'm telling you this. It's on record. I have it recorded here. And the next thing, please follow me carefully. The next thing she said to me, I said, so what is this all about? She said, I just want to let you know that I'll be so honored if I can have you in my hands. Sorry, you would have thought that is serious. Then the next thing she said to me, I said, so ma, are you suggesting sexual? She said, yes. She said, I won't mind having sex with you. I said, well, you know my wife. You say you. She said, I want to experience what your wife is experiencing. Here's where I'm going to. Take your mind away from that. And I want you to put it on this. Can somebody from afar see that you are truly treating your wife well? Can somebody from afar, can your children see? Let me ask you a question, sir. Can you tell your children, take care of your wife the way I took care of your mother? Can you tell your sons to relate with their wives the way you related with their mother and their marriage will not break? As a mother, can you tell your daughters, study the way I relate with your father, relate with your husband like that, your marriage will be well? It is the greatest test of all parents. Can you tell your children to use your template to run their marriage? Will their marriage not fail within 3 years? As we live here today, let us think deeply. Everything we are doing is a book our children are reading. They will relate with their own wives based on how we related with their mothers. They will relate with their husbands how we related with their fathers. What I love was what my father-in-law did. He called his children at old age, invited me, his own in-law. He said, Sam, I made the biggest mistake in my life. Here are 5 things you never do that I did, and I did wrongly, that destroyed my home. I said, sir, you are the greatest man I have ever met. Not just teaching us about your success, but giving us access into where you missed it. We are still alive and well. It's not too late. It will take a lot of courage, and young people are looking for that. Call your sons and say, my sons, there are things I know you have seen in the world related with your mother. It was wrong. Don't lead your family like that. I was not properly taught. I made a lot of mistakes. I was not properly coached. Don't go that way. It is the greatest honor a child can get from a father. Mommies, be humble enough to call your daughter, I didn't treat your father well. I missed it. God bless you all.